What's going on with the PlayStation Showcase? Concord may be shown very soon, the time is not right for Wolverine, and 12 games leave the PlayStation Plus catalog in June. Let's get to the PlayStation news. Let's start with what's going on with the PlayStation Showcase because Sony has not announced anything, but let's look at the clues and try to predict what they have planned for this Summer Game Fest. There's a new leak from Bill Kun, a very reliable insider who usually leaks every PlayStation Plus lineup very accurately. They were talking about Concord, more on that in a minute, but another thing they reported is that despite rumors of a state of play or showcase at the end of May, they have not been able to confirm that an event like that is happening. But previous comments from insider Jeff Grubb said there was going to be an event at the end of May, and recent comments from Xbox era Nick Baker point to the event happening on May 28. Sony usually announces showcases a week in advance, so if it's not confirmed already, it is likely not going to happen next week, but they are kind of inconsistent with state of play, sometimes announcing them just a couple of days ahead. That was the case for the one we had in January, where they announced it on the 29th and it happened on the 31st. There's also the chance that it will happen later in June. Sony held a broad corporate presentation this week and they will do a business strategy meeting next Wednesday, where PlayStation will lay out its plans for the next fiscal year. Last year they had a similar business meeting and a day later they had the showcase for the public. Another key detail is that Sony is doing a Days of Play promotion that usually runs around what was E3 week with deals on games, PlayStation Plus, consoles and accessories. As I said, it's starting to look like it will be a state of play rather than a showcase, so it's probably going to be more contained with fewer games. That's not necessarily bad as we have had great state of play events in the past, but I would say lower your expectations a bit. After all, Sony previously said they don't expect to launch big first party games until after April 2025, so if they are not ready they won't show it. Do you think Sony will hold the usual PlayStation event around Summer Game Fest season? Let me know in the comments or vote on the poll in the community tab. Now let's talk about Concord because Sony may or may not do an event, but we will see the game from Fireworks Studios in the next 2 weeks regardless. That's also coming from reliable leaker Bill Kun, who said the game was ready to be shown in the January state of play, but it didn't happen likely because of issues with the PC version. Now Fireworks Studios is said to be showing the game for real, introducing some of the playable characters in the game, with the gameplay said to be inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy. The rumor says it will be shown during Summer Game Fest rather than a Sony event, and if we remember they usually have something for Geoff Keighley's show even after holding a showcase. Last year they had Insomniac showing the key art for Venom in Spider-Man 2. However, I don't think they should show it at Summer Game Fest with this being a new IP, so I would prefer Sony introduces the game in its own event, but we'll see what happens. Are you looking forward to seeing more from Concord? Share with us in the comments. Next, we have been waiting 3 years for Insomniac to show more Wolverine, and with all the leaks from the studio hack last year, you would think they are ready to show something, but what if I told you they may not show anything? Someone asked Insomniac on Twitter for an update about the game and their answer was disappointing, saying they will share news when the time is right and the right time isn't now. As disappointing as that is to hear, I think it's better to set expectations if they are not going to show the game. It would be worse if Sony announced an event and the game is not there. There's also a chance they are lying, but I don't think that's the case. With rumors that the game is aiming for a 2025 launch, and since Sony said they won't have any big first party games after April next year, they don't need to rush the gameplay reveal for the game this far ahead. For the past few years Sony has been playing their cards really close, and they reveal a game but won't show anything else until they are very confident in its release window. It happened with God of War Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2. Do you think we'll see something for Wolverine this year? Place your bets in the comments. Before talking about the PlayStation Plus games leaving next month, here are some quick-fire gaming news. As part of Sony's corporate meeting, the company presented a video concept for its vision of the future, and they showed an interesting clip of a futuristic handheld with a holographic display. These are not products, but how they envision will reach customers in the future, blending creativity and technology as part of the Japanese concept of Kando, which looks to provide emotions. These at least tell me they are thinking of portable consoles in the future, but will not look anything like that. As part of the marketing for their strategy, Sony published an interview with Naughty Dog president Neil Druckmann talking about the evolution of storytelling across mediums, where he teased their next game is perhaps the most thrilling yet, and it could redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming, given how the Last of Us game and TV show have worked to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. I'm not a fan when creators hide things without showing them, but well, it was a corporate interview, so he had to do that. After a couple of teasers, Activision and Microsoft have officially announced the next chapter for Call of Duty is Black Ops 6. The game will be fully revealed on June 9 after the Xbox showcase, which was the slot they announced as a redacted showcase. So yeah, new year, new Call of Duty, you can act surprised. The free Godzilla DLC for Dave the Diver is out now, adding 3 new missions to the game and themed collectibles to find, but it has a time limit. The PlayStation Store page for the game says that the DLC will only be up for download from May 23rd until November 23, 2024. Anyone who claims the DLC will be able to continue playing after that, so if you want to play the game, better claim the DLC since it's free and the game is now on the PS Plus catalog. Stellar Blade's latest update is out today and it adds 3 costumes, White Kunoichi and Black Kunoichi. There's a third one called Neuralink, but for that you will need to beat the new boss challenge mode that will have you fighting all 19 bosses from the game. Besides that, there are some quality of life improvements to auto-target enemies when switching from range to close attack, and the option to always show the compass in the HUD. Now we got new games added to the PlayStation Plus catalog this week, but as with every month, now we know about 12 games that will be leaving in June. The list includes Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, DC League of Super Pets, Dodgeball Academia, Indivisible, Monster Jam Steel Titans, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, The Talos Principle, The Wild at Heart, and Unturned, all for PS4. Plus MotoGP and Grand Theft Auto 5 for both PS4 and PS5. GTA 5 is leaving just 6 months after it was added back in December. Besides that, we're also losing a classic next month in Baja Edge of Control HD for PS4. These games are expected to leave on June 18, one day before the new games get added next month, so if you're interested in playing any of them, this is your last chance. Are there any games from this list you wish were not leaving soon? Let me know your thoughts about that and any of this news in the comments below. If you want more PlayStation and gaming news, remember to subscribe and hit the bell to never miss an episode. You can also check out the previous video where we talk about the Stellar Blade sequel being approved, Kojima giving an update for Death Stranding 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows doing really great in pre-orders, Take-Two confident in the GTA 6 release window, and more. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one.